loved what FCA was and is and what it stands for and just what it did for me as a student athlete. In terms of being a coach, for years, I would say, for the first probably 4 or 5 years, I was more of a 1 to 2 dimensional coach. Nate brought the 3D coaching philosophy to my attention really several years ago. And I really felt like I was doing parts of that in my coaching, but in terms of really digging in to just what it meant to be a 3-dimensional coach, the program that Nate and I went through, or that he helped me walk through, was just phenomenal. The 3D coaching really has just kind of opened my eyes to new avenues and ways to plug in my my faith and just what my heart is for the athletes. That really just wasn't happening before. So at Walton Verona, what our FCA looks like on a monthly basis is about 80 to 120. I have a group of, right now we have 9 student leaders, but once a week I meet with those students. Really we use that time to equip them to then take the word to the streets, so to speak. Really cool testimony from one of our former FCA leaders. He contacted me, he'd gone away to college, and he just said, Coach, I'd really like to come back. I feel like God has laid something on my heart for the students there at Walton Verona. What happened that day was just phenomenal. He just spoke from the Word, gave a legit invitation after he finished speaking, and 9 students gave their life to Christ that day. Many stories like that that I could tell through just the leaders and their dedication to want to see their peers come to Christ. Myself, having been a supporter for a while now, I can really think of no better investment in your money than to invest it in something that doesn't just have an impact here and now, but has an impact in eternity.
Marty Mayer had a lot to do with kind of helping us find FCA kind of through him. And
our identity, kind of, I hate to say, is we're a basketball family, and it consumes so much of our time, and FCA was the godsend, was a true blessing to us. I remember when Marty and Bobby Mayer invited us to the luncheon. You guys were amazing. We could really see Jesus in you. You had a vision and you had a plan, and you had this energy that was contagious, and it really got us excited to be on board. And immediately we're like, this is a ministry that not only do we want to get involved in and serve with, but we want to financially support this ministry. Our kids and our community need something like this. It's been probably 5 years since we started doing huddles at Bellevue High School. The different resources that were available was amazing. And it started out, I remember, it's like, how do we even do this? Well, Nate, of course, met with us, and we're like, here's a game plan. This is your playbook. The huddle started off, just a few kids would come, and we had a clear message sharing the gospel, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful to see. And kids were hearing messages they'd never heard before. They were understanding that I am worthy, I am loved, I am forgiven, I am unique, God made me, In that Easter season, I'm like, we've got to do something. So we extended the invitation. We decided to hold a baptism in Bellevue. The mayor of Bellevue, Charlie Cleaves, and his wife Marianne opened up their home and their swimming pool to us, and we baptized 7 children, 7 high school, middle school students, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I mean, it rates way up there.
I mean, just thinking about it and hearing her talk about it now, I get a little choked up.
Yeah.
Just looking back at those pictures and just seeing what those kids, the decision that they made, and that maybe we had a little bit a part of helping them. If it weren't for our connection with FCA, I don't know that we have 7 kids get baptized May of 2019. I mean, I don't know if our kids go to these summer camps and look at making these decisions that they've made. I don't know if the kid that got baptized as part of one of those 7 goes on to college and finds FCA there. I mean, if we can help some way by planting that little seed with some sort of financial contribution, it is well worth it.
So it's definitely something that has, I think, allowed us to just realize, wow, this little thing that we're doing every month, just a little bit of sacrifice is making a huge impact in the lives of other people.
When I was a kid, we went to church pretty consistently. In my family, it really wasn't a big part of our lives. When me and my brother got busier with sports, we kind of stopped going to church. I was told from a young age to believe in God, but I never really knew what it meant to have a relationship with Christ. Coming into college, I really didn't really know who I was, really just wanted to fit in, and at that point, all I really cared about was soccer and who I was friends with, what people thought about me. So that's all I really took pride in at that point. And as a person, I would definitely say that I was really, really lost at that point. And so I remember my freshman year, a few of my roommates started going to FCA, kind of invited me to go, and I was like, no, that's not, I'm not into that, that's not me. So, and then sophomore year came around, and it was kind of just something that they all did on Monday nights, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go. There was zero judgment whatsoever. It was no matter who you were, what your story was. So I went pretty consistently my sophomore year, but I was really 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Then my junior year, towards the end of my junior year, in one of our last, I think it was one of our last spring games, I tore my ACL for the second time. That was devastating for me. I felt like my entire identity, because that's all that I cared about at that point, had been taken away. So once I didn't have that, I was even more lost than I was before. That was a really, really dark few months for me. And then leading into that summer, I only had a few friends on campus, but my one friend, Peyton, invited me to a Bible study that Caitlin was running at their house. I didn't really know it at the time, but it was because I was seeking something that I didn't know I needed at the time. Everything in my life up to that point I thought my life was exactly what I wanted it to be, and I didn't need anything else. And I remember at the end of that study, Caitlin literally put her hand on my knee and just prayed over my knee and my situation and everything that I was going through. And that was a really big moment for me because I was bawling the entire time, and I think didn't know it at the time, but had felt God's presence probably for the first time. And so I felt something at that study that I had never felt before, and I kind of left just wanting more of it. So that was kind of the turning point for me, because I really at that point started seeking something that was going to give me life and give me light. And I started going to her study consistently and opened up the Bible that I had gotten from FCA for the first time, bought a journal, really started seeking out Christ. And that summer was a really, I remember feeling like that was where I was supposed to be that summer. Going into my senior year, there was kind of there were certain parts of my life that I didn't want to give up control of or didn't want to give up. I got back to soccer pretty much every time I stepped on the field. I just kept re-injuring my knee to the point where I just was not playing at all, really. And so then everything with Corona kind of started happening, and so I went home for a while, and I just remember struggling a lot during that time because I don't like to give up control of things, and I just didn't have control of anything that was going on in my life. So I just hit a turning point and invited God into literally every aspect of my life. Through FCA, I was able to get baptized, rebaptized in Nate and Caitlin's neighbor's pool, which was really, really special, and it was an amazing experience because, first of all, because Nate and Caitlin were the ones that baptized me, and they both had such a big influence in just helping me grow in this journey, because it's not something that's easy to do alone. All of the weight that I am carrying around, all of these things that I was dealing with, were gone. I'm moving home to Cleveland in a few months to start grad school. I'm really trying now to like make that transition from being a listener and being discipled by other people to discipling other people, and kind of take what I've learned here and how this place has impacted me and take that back to Cleveland. I've seen more growth and more change in myself, and none of that would have happened without FCA and without Nate and Caitlin especially. So.